On board this Falcon 9 rocket, of course, a batch of Starlink satellites. Taking a look at what those Starlinks look like in launch configuration. There are 20 of them on board this particular mission, each of them clocking in at about 1,760 pounds or about 800 kilograms. With their solar panels unfurled, they have a wingspan of about 100 feet or 30 meters. They use argon Hall thrusters for in-orbit maneuvers as opposed to the previously used Krypton Hall thrusters. They were built in Redmond, Washington, which is near Seattle, and they'll be deployed at about 180 miles or 290 kilograms in altitude at a 53-degree inclination. If you haven't already had a chance to pop over to our website, spaceflightnow.com, and read the preview article on this launch, we'll note that there are only 20 Starlinks in total on this flight. However, 13 of those have the direct-to-cell capability, something that SpaceX has been rolling out over the course of this year, little by little, until this will bring the total number of announced direct-to-cell Starlinks up to 25 so far. Well, we don't have a great image from SpaceX of what the Starlink V2 minis look like in their on-orbit configuration. We do have this image from HEO Robotics, give you an idea of what a Starlink V2 mini looks like on orbit. You can see the solar panels stretching out to either side of the satellite main body. This photo was captured last year, claiming to be the first direct observation of a Starlink V2 mini on orbit. We're now T-minus 11 minutes, 28 seconds and counting. As was the case with our most recent launch from the Cape, this is a fairly young booster as compared to some of the quote-unquote old-timers for the SpaceX fleet. This booster only launching for the 4th time on this flight. Let's go ahead and take a moment to talk about the history of this particular booster, tail number 1082 in the SpaceX fleet. Its first couple of flights, similar to the one it's about to embark on right now, they were both Starlink missions. The first was back on January 3rd of this year. That was Starlink mission 7-9. That was followed up a month later, the Starlink 7-14 mission on February 15th of this year. And then most recently was a national security mission for this booster. That was on April 11th, launching the USSF 62 flight, sending up the weather system follow-on microwave satellite. A flight booked through the U.S. Space Systems Command. It's the first of this military satellite program. And speaking of near to a pad, we now have views of this one. And you can see, as I mentioned,
Falcon 9 tanks are pressing for strong back retract.
SpaceX booster looking fairly unflight proven, even though it's flown already 3 times, but far less sooty than some of the others that we've seen recently. Still very clearly make out that SpaceX blue lettering. And that call you just heard, they are preparing for the strong back retract.
Strong back lower has started,
Which is now in motion. This will recline about 13 degrees away from the Falcon 9 rocket, as opposed to the 1.5 degrees that we're used to out here in Florida. And there you see the strong back, or the transporter erector, now in motion. We're now T minus 3 minutes, 15 seconds and counting. And for our friends watching in the area of California, or if you've got any kind of visibility on the rocket, just letting you know in real time, the clock that you see there at the base of the window you're
Stage 1
looking at
launch load complete.
right now, that is the SpaceX feed, which is coming in on a slight delay. So in real time, we're about 11 seconds ahead of that. So again, real time, we're about T minus 2 minutes, 33 seconds and counting. So just look at the clock at the bottom of the screen, subtract 11 seconds. And if you've got in-person visibility in the rocket, that's what you're going to want to watch for. So don't want you to miss your opportunity. Coming up on the conclusion of fueling of the Falcon 9 rocket, the next we're expecting to hear is second stage LOX load complete. Meantime, I want to welcome or thank Becky Hames for a $5 super chat. And thanks to Mighty HTV for gifting 5 Spaceflight Now memberships. Really appreciate that from the both of you. And hello to Heidi Hayden, saying hello from Evanston, home of my alma mater, Northwestern. Thank you, Heidi, and go Cats.
Stage 2 LOX load complete.
And with that call out, the Falcon 9 is now fully fueled and ready for flight. We're about a minute and a half away from the planned liftoff of the Starlink
Ground gas closeout.
8-2 mission. Again, just as a reminder, in real time, it is T minus 53 seconds and counting.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
And the next call we're expecting is the go for launch.
Go for launch.
And with that, looks like we're going to see a Falcon fly in just about 35 seconds from now on the SpaceX clock. Again, for those watching in real time, you are now 20 seconds away. We're going to go ahead and step back for a moment, listening to the final countdown from SpaceX, and we'll be back with you just on the other side of liftoff.
T minus 15 seconds. T minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. And liftoff. Falcon 9. Go Starlink. Go SpaceX.
Engine chamber pressure is nominal.
And a good liftoff
Power and telemetry nominal.
of the Falcon 9 rocket so far, coming up on a minute into flight.
Vehicle is supersonic.
Hopefully folks there in Southern California getting a great view of Falcon 9 in flight. Is now traveling faster than the speed of sound. And with that call out, the rocket has passed through max Q, the point of greatest aerodynamic pressure on the vehicle. Coming up in the next minute, we're going to hit a few different milestones in fairly rapid succession. First will be first stage main engine cutoff, or MECO, at about T plus 2 minutes and 31 seconds. That'll be followed 3 seconds later by stage separation. And then second stage engine start, SES1. That'll be capped off by fairing deployment just after the 3-minute mark. That call out you just heard from SpaceX for MVac chill. They are thermally conditioning the Merlin vacuum engine on the Falcon 9 second stage in preparation for the start of its burn. Coming up in less than a minute.
MECO.
Stage separation confirmed.
MVac ignition.
And all good callouts from SpaceX and events you see here on your screen. And there go the hypersonic grid fins deploying there on the Falcon 9 first stage.
Fairing separation confirmed.
And with that, the Starlink satellites are now exposed to the vacuum of space for the first time on this flight. You can see a little bit of the glow of the lights from the California coastline there from the cameras on the Falcon 9 first stage. It's up in the box in the upper left-hand side of the screen.
Nominal trajectory.
So far, all appears to be going smoothly with this Falcon mission. This is SpaceX's 48th launch of the year so far. Now 4 minutes into flight. Coming up in just over 2 minutes will be the start of the first stage entry burn. That burn lasting 21 seconds, slowing the vehicle down considerably. First stage booster appears to have reached its apogee. Altitude still hovering around 116 kilometers. And we are now 1 minute until the start of the entry burn. Some good views from inside the Falcon 9 first stage on the left-hand side of your screen. On the right, toggling back and forth to look at both sides of the Merlin vacuum engine, ensure that it's still burning evenly. And there are no spots where it's either burning too hot or otherwise unevenly across the Merlin vacuum engine. Now 6 minutes into flight, less than 10 seconds away from the start of the entry burn.
Nominal trajectory.
Entry burn startup. Entry burn shutdown.
Appears to have been a good entry burn. Coming up next will be the start of the landing burn, which will begin in just about 1 minute from now at T plus 7 minutes and 55 seconds. That'll set up for a drone stage landing at about T plus 8 minutes and 18 seconds. You can see the speedometer on the
ATS saved.
Falcon 9 first stage dropping rapidly. Entry burn considerably slowing it down, and now also being slowed down by some atmospheric drag.
Stage 1 transonic.
What they call out the Falcon 9 first stage booster traveling below the speed of sound. Now just about 10 seconds until the start of that landing burn.
Stage 1 landing burn. Landing leg deploy. Stage 1 landing confirmed.
And with that, a good landing of Falcon 9
Stage 2
booster
ATS is saved.
be 1082 for the 4th time.
Seago.
And a good call out on Seiko. At this point, the Falcon 9 second stage is going into a parking orbit where we'll coast until about T plus 52 minutes and 31 seconds. There will be a quick 1 second burn of that Merlin vacuum engine, followed by Starlink satellite deployment at T plus 1 hour, 1 minute, and 25 seconds. After those Starlinks are deployed, that'll set up the Falcon 9 second stage for one more burn, and that is a deorbit burn to drive it back into the atmosphere, where it will burn up, helping to eliminate the risk of creating unnecessary space debris on this mission.